to school, back to school, to prove to Dad that I'm not a fool. I got my lunch packed up, my boots tied tight. I hope I don't get in a fight. Oh, back to school, back to school.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode. We are happy to have you with us. Normally we do like a nice full-length episode here, but this one might be more of a mini episode. We have just so many variations of our show. We just want to provide you with so much entertainment. We can't hold back. And we thought it was fitting that based on the time of the year it is, summer's winding down. I mean, we're a little older, so we don't really have to worry about this anymore. But it is that time of year where even at my age, I still get those feelings inside of thinking that, oh, it's back to school time. And it's just, it's end of August, coming into September, and the weather is starting to, well, it's still the hot as Satan's testicle outside. But, you know, it starts to get a little chillier. The nights get a little shorter, or I should say longer, not shorter. Whoops.
Days get a little shorter.
Thank you. That's just why we have you.
We finally figured out 19
that's the reason why you're on this podcast.
It took us almost a year. That's the reason why you're on this pod.
Yeah.
Cast.
Oh, there it is. That's a good one.
But anyway, yeah, this is just that time of year. So I thought before we would get into it here, I'd play a little jingle, something that I feel like could get us in the mood, and we'll jump into some topics here. So if you will just have a seat, sit back, relax, and enjoy this little, 10-second clip to get us in the mood for our episode.
Oh, back to school. Back to school, to prove to Dad that I'm not a fool. I got my lunch packed up, my boots tied tight. I hope I don't get in a fight. Oh, back to school, back to school.
There we go. If you were not aware of that, Billy Madison, not sure if you guys are all a fan of that, but I approved of his movies. Those were back when he was actually making good movies. No offense, Adam Sandler, if you're listening to us, which I hope you are. And then write a review for us, Adam Sandler. Leave a comment, leave a review, even if it's bad. We don't care. We'll take it. But yeah, back to school. This is just that time of year, and I thought we would jump right into this here. So any initial thoughts on this time of year? Like, what do you guys normally feel as we kind of wind down with summer? Do you still get those feelings inside where you're like, oh yeah, it's like that time. I feel like I should be getting ready and getting my stuff done so I can get prepared. What are you guys thinking? How about you, Cast?
Yeah, when I see the commercials for back to school sales and whatnot, it's like that feeling of intense dread and anxiety that the summer was ending and we have to go back to homework and the routine of being in school, and to the cold weather, up here in the Northeast. And yeah, every time I see a back to school commercial, I'm like, man, I'm really happy I don't have to deal with that yet, until kids come in the picture. But for now, it's a beautiful thing not having to go back to school. Then I go to work the next day and it's like,
oh yeah,
good goddamn.
Well, you didn't have summer vacation, so you never had respite from anything. So there's that too. Scales, what are your feelings?
Yeah.
You feeling the same way?
When you have kids, it's a different feeling because you're excited that they're out of your hair and they're going back to school.
So you're like that was it Staples commercial where it's like they play The Most Wonderful Time of the Year and the father's going through with the carriage and throwing stuff in, the kids are just like walking behind like so depressed.
So funny.
Yep,
that's a classic one. All right. Well, all right, some good initial thoughts on it. So what I thought we would do is I kind of have just a list of a few items and ideas and things that I thought we would start kind of more in a chronological order for, starting in the summer and then kind of winding our way into actually being back at school. So the first thing I have on the list is just camp. School ends, sometimes you go away. I personally never went away to camp, but I know a lot of people did, even just day camps or whatever, not sleepaway camps. But I know some would go almost like right away, go for a short amount of time, a week, a month. Some would go a little bit later. But what'd you guys do? Scales, did you ever, was that a big part for you over the summer vacation?
Yeah, it was. Where I grew up, my elementary school was just a few blocks down the street from my house. And in the summer, they had our local Parks and Rec department ran a summer camp at the school. So it was like going to school, but I was going to camp. And, it was just all kinds of fun, dodgeball, and just like a whole day, like from, 7 a.m. till probably 3 or 4 o'clock until one of my parents got out of work, and just playing with all these kids that lived around in the same area. So kids I knew already. It was fun. And we used to go, actually, there was a swimming pool at the local middle school, and we take field trips there. Like, I don't know if it was once a week or once every other week to go to the indoor swimming pool at the middle school. So that was fun too. Great memories of summer camp there. Loved it.
You didn't mind being at your school during the summer?
It was all outside, so we didn't actually go inside the school.
That must have been hot.
Outside?
During the summer?
I mean, it was all. I mean, there's a lot of covered areas. Sorry, I wasn't like catching on to what you're saying. Yeah, there was a lot of covered areas, and the outer of the school there. So, I mean,
ladies and gentlemen, I guess it wasn't. Welcome back, John Madden, to the show. It was summer camp. It must have been hot.
It wasn't too bad. Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen,
you got no air conditioner over here, and you got a fan over here blowing the hot air.
That's how we did it back in those days. We weren't, so lucky to have air conditioning all 24 hours a day, like these stupid
air conditioning all
summer, like these kids these days playing on their damn iPads.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're recording this a little later than probably we normally do, so we apologize if we're a little extra punchy, but that might actually be beneficial for your viewing and listening pleasure, because we're going to find a lot of things a little more funny tonight.
Yeah. That's all I have to say about summer camp. You can move on to somebody.
Scales is drinking Bacardi out of his cup over there.
I'm very angry tonight.
Jeez, my God. Cast camp. You a camper?
Yeah, I never went to sleepaway. That was never really a thing for us. But I went, as I've mentioned multiple times on the show. We had a house in Pennsylvania for a bit, and I went to camp for the first time there. Inside the development where we had a house, there was a camp that was, it was fun. Like, we play sports, like Scales was saying, like basketball, kickball, dodgeball, red light, green light. And since it's, woods, like go walking through the woods, it was a lot of fun. And then back in Brooklyn, went to camp for a few years at a few different places. And just a regular day camp, again, like play games. It was a lot of stuff to do, like music class, not really, but play in the street, go to the park, take a trip. Like there was a pool that we go to every now and then. But then I started going to baseball camp, John Franco baseball camp, actually. So John nice. Franco, Mets great fellow Brooklynite. He and his brother, they had a batting cage, and then they had a baseball camp for kids up to like maybe early high school age, because I think the last time I went was between freshman and sophomore years of high school. But it was awesome. It was baseball all day long. It was drills and hitting, and you could pick a specialty if you want to learn pitching, catching, whatever it might have been. I think I would do that 4 weeks. in the summer. But it was great. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, I look forward to that every year. It was great.
Cool. Yeah, like all right. I mean, like you guys, unlike you guys, I never really went to camp, but there was always that just desire to not go to camp, but maybe buy a camper, and maybe buy a camper from this guy.
Son of a bitch.
What are your thoughts on that? I mean, you could buy a camper from him, and you could camp anywhere. Hey,
if you're gonna buy a Class C motorhome, what better one to get?
Exactly. All right, so summer starts. You guys go away to camp. I don't. I sit home and twiddle my fingers and whatever. And watch
Turtles.
The prices. Play Turtles. Watch Price is Right. Yeah, just sleep late, go to bed late, play video games. What a life. But
sounds like some of our friends now.
Oof, rough. All right, so I mean, we kind of already talked about this, but getting that feeling like you start getting towards the end of the summer, and you start to get that feeling like, oh man, we only got like a week left, and now we got to go back to school. So I'm going to kind of combine this one with the next one. Because we already kind of talked about those feelings. Like, we don't really feel it much anymore because we have jobs and we don't get summer vacation. We have to take our own vacations, and
does it
so
count?
We don't really,
does the recurring nightmare where it's like the last day of the semester and you've never been to class, and you have papers due and 4 books that you haven't read, and you're in a class that you've never, like the next class you've never been to, but somehow it's okay. Does that one count? Or
yeah, you could say that, but I don't know. I mean, were you feeling that when you were like a kid, like,
No, only as an adult.
Yeah. I just had one last night.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, God. Such a bad feeling.
That's not good. Not good. But, all right, yeah, so, yeah, the feeling of going back, you're like, oh, crap, summer's winding down. Gonna have to start waking up early again and, going to bed early and doing homework. But then there was also something that was called summer homework. Like, I had summer reading, summer math packets. I'm like, all right, okay. I mean, I'm as most people know, like, I'm not much of a reader, but occasionally pick up something. And there were a couple good books over the summers that we had to read or we could choose to read. But math packets, like, come on. I mean, we went to school for so long during the year. I get that they want to keep our mind, whatever, but I was waiting to the last couple of weeks to get some of this stuff done all the time, and then it would creep up on me, and it's just this is coming from you.
Oh, the procrastinatron himself. He was doing it the first week after school let out.
Yeah, jeez, oof. But yeah, for me, it was just like, I was not a fan of any of that summer homework. I think that should have been banned. I mean, it's bad enough that we had to go to school and carry everything and do all this stuff all the time, and then, we just get a couple months to just relax, and here you go. There's more work. Enough of that.
I'm with you, Duffy.
Yeah. What are you feeling on that, guys?
It's horrible. There should be no summer homework. It's freaking summer vacation. I don't want to do homework. And like you said, you would just, every day you'd wake up and you'd have to do it. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it next week. I'll wait till a couple days before I go back. And it was just like dreadful thinking about it. It's like, come on, just let us have fun. We're just kids, for God's sakes. I couldn't tell you like what I did for summer homework one year. Like, it's not going to matter. You're going to go back to school. You'll get back in the swing of things. It'll be fine. They should ban it. We don't need it.
I agree. Banned.
I do think that there should be summer reading, though, especially because so many kids don't really read. I feel like increasingly so. The math packets and whatnot were pretty annoying. And we definitely had to read some clunkers. I still remember one I must have been in like 2nd grade, and I still remember this book was terrible. The Corn Grows Ripe. It was like the most boring.
Sounds like a winner.
Oh God,
The Corn Grows Ripe.
It was so bad. It was like one of the dullest books I ever had to read. But I had some good ones too throughout the years. Shoeless Joe. That was a good one. Not Shoeless Joe. Yeah, it was the one that I think Field of Dreams is based on that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I might be mixing a few things up. Shoeless Joe. The Andromeda Strain by Michael Crichton. That was a assigned reading. The Hobbit was kind of boring. Flatlands, which is this very short novella, but it's philosophical. It's about a square. It like for me to describe it, it's gonna sound really dull and boring, but it was one that made you think. And there's a whole bunch I didn't read, of course, because you know. But they tended to assign some pretty decent ones.
See, I would have rather
it'd be a mixed bag.
I would have rather preferred to do the math packet than the reading. But
that's
maybe the
coming
only
from
one
a
here.
math major here, you know.
Yeah.
And thankfully, something called SparkNotes came along a little later in our lives when we were in
very
school,
handy.
so that helped tremendously. But then I feel like teachers purposely picked books that they knew would not be on any of these things.
That's true. That's true. Those bastards.
Zorba the Greek was another good one that I had to read.
Excuse me?
Zorba the Greek.
I thought you said Norbit. Like,
Oh, no.
I thought you said exorbitant. Exorbitant
Zorba?
Greeks.
I'm sorry, maybe I should have
Norbit.
Zorba the Greek.
There you go.
That's better. That's better.
Yes.
All right. So summer homework, I think we're all on kind of the same agreement. Yeah, I'd be okay with, some summer reading. Okay, sure. But yeah, to an extent, summer math packet in the garbage, in the fire.
Yeah.
All right. So, you start getting some of that done. The weeks are becoming now days. Your parents taking you out now, and you got to get school supplies. You got to go out and do that fun shopping. Maybe you have a list from the teacher that they have specific things they want you to do. TI-83 calculator, specific ruler, 3-ring circus binders, trapper keepers, the good old days, erasers, pens, pencils, colored pencils, pen with erase, whatever, all sorts of stuff. I don't know. I always thought it was kind of fun getting some new supplies, some new stuff, and getting some new Crayola crayons or something like that. Even though I would barely use them, but it's like, oh, you never know when you're gonna have a project you're gonna need them for. What do you guys feel about all that?
Cascade.
I've always, and I'm nerdy, and I've always been nerdy. I've always liked school supplies. I like pens. I was obsessed with pens when I was a kid. I had a collection of expensive pens. I still have them.
Do you guys remember those pens? I was obsessed for a while with these pens that I think it was Bic that made them, where they would change color in your hands as your hand got warm. You would hold the pens and they would go from it would be like a white pen, and then it would turn red where your fingers or hands were holding it.
Remember that.
Sounds
they
cool.
they were so cool. And for a little bit, I was just I had to have all the colors.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I don't remember what year that was.
I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, Bic color changing pens with heat or something. I don't know.
Well, now you're gonna have to find a commercial and post it on our TikTok.
Yes.
If they had they have a commercial
Probably-
for pens,
probably
for
have a
Bic
commercial.
pens?
Probably.
For Bic pens, really?
Probably.
Sounds cool enough to have a commercial.
But I mean, as you guys know, the school that I went to, for grammar school at least, plenty of rules, about a lot of things. So it's like trapper keepers or anything like that weren't an option. We could, we had to buy the paper from the supply room at the school. We had to use their theme tablet, it was called. Couldn't have the 3-hole paper. Had to have specific marble notebooks. We had to write in pencil until we were allowed to write in pen. Then it had to be erasable pen.
Oh, wow.
And then we need the pencil case and glue.
Now,
or whatever.
number 2 pencil, or could it be one of those cool
Had to be number 2.
those cool pencils where you would have each little almost like little shots or vials of a pencil, where after a while when it would run out, you just take it out, and you know what I'm talking about?
yeah.
As long as it was number 2, yeah, we were allowed to have those.
I don't remember what those are called. There's so many things.
What makes it a number 2? And what happened to number 1 and 3, 4, 5, 6?
They have those. It's all the hardness.
We could
of
ask
the lead.
Austin Powers.
It's the hardness of the lead.
Number 2,
Oh,
or Dr.
alright.
Evil, I should say.
Yeah, a number 1 pencil is softer, a number 3 is harder.
Interesting.
That comes into play a lot, if you draw.
Okay.
Is there a number 3?
Yeah.
How about 4?
I don't remember how high they go. But
How about 5?
It's just like the scene from The Office with Dwight in the volleyball
Yeah.
game.
Exactly.
the thing that makes number 2 pencils important for multiple choice tests like Scantron is it'll only read number 2.
I feel like Scantron would be the perfect
Scantron.
name of a villain. Like,
From Transformers.
was.
yeah, like Scantron. I don't know. Like I don't know. They should have used that.
Oh, one thing I forgot: clear contact for all the workbooks. We had to cover our textbooks in
Oh.
brown paper.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Could you draw on them at least, like doodle and stuff, or?
I don't know. I don't even remember. on the contact, maybe. I mean, I didn't
Okay.
really. I would have the name of the textbook written on the brown paper that would be falling off after 2 weeks and be torn.
Okay.
It's like I feel like the book is protecting the brown paper at that point.
The Trapper
Alright.
Keepers are back, Duffy. Says I got
Ooh.
Rosie one for school this year. It's
Nice.
like they're all like the vintage 90 look. Like hers is like some neon cheetah looking
Ooh.
thing with
That's
a boom
fancy.
box, holding a boom box, like classic. I was
Now-
trying to look up some stuff from the 90s like that to remember some of the designs, and it wasn't Trapper Keepers, but it was they were, remember Mead, like they make notebooks and stuff.
Oh yeah.
There
Yep.
was folders that they made, and you may have to look it up to see it, but basically they were like, it was all sports themed stuff, but it was like, they were cartoony, but they were super zoomed in to like a kid or an animal, like either hitting a baseball or slam dunking a basketball. And it was like super animated and like close up. If you see it, you may remember it, but I was like,
Yeah.
I love those as a kid. I loved getting like sports themed pencils. Like I had like the NBA pencils and MLB pencils. Those are always cool to have.
Oh, yeah.
And the gel pens, I liked having all different colored pens. The floppy rulers, I gotta had one of those, like the clear, like neon looking ones that were really
Hey.
rubber. Yeah, and like Cass said, the covering your books with the paper, with the paper bag, and then writing all kinds of designs on it. Of course, my favorite was the S, as we know, the famous '90s
Yeah.
S. Which
Oh yeah.
I
Everybody
love doing
drew it.
that with my name.
Everybody
So many
did.
S's. Yeah.
All right, I have a little bit of a question to kind of go through with each of you guys. So, all right, you get a 5 subject binder.
Mhm.
Teacher says, "All right, I want you to color code. I want you to color code for each of the subjects. We're gonna go through the colors here. I want you to tell me what subject does that color line up for you. Do you know what I'm kind of asking you here? So I'm going to give you a color that
Yeah.
would be the color that would represent whatever subject that you're putting it in for
It's
that.
like a
for
brain.
that
This is
notebook.
like a psychological experiment of some kind.
Yes. All right. We're going to start with the color blue. What color would what subject or what class would you use blue for? Cast.
Math.
Scales.
I said science.
Damn. All right, I would use that for English or language arts.
Well, glad we're all on the same page.
That's
here.
good.
If we're going by Trivial Pursuit geography,
All right. All right.
I say
Red.
math. I say math because my sequential 2, which was math, like the second year of math for high school, was my textbook was blue.
Oh, there you go.
That's just what
Stuck
popped in
with
my
you.
head.
Okay. All right.
Red, he said.
Red. Scales. What would you do?
That one would probably be English.
All right. Cast.
Chemistry.
It's very specific. That would be math for me. All right. So again, we're still all on the same page. That's great. All right. Yellow. Cast.
History.
Okay. Scales.
History.
History. Yes. All right. We all got one. Okay. Good job, guys. Green. Scales.
I'd do math for that one.
Cast.
Spanish.
All right. And I'll go science, not chemistry, but just general science. Let's see. What other colors am I missing that I would utility?
Usually orange, maybe.
Yeah.
Black, white.
Orange. Yeah. Let's go orange. Scales.
What haven't I mentioned? Math, history, English, science. What else would there be?
English.
Reading?
PE.
PE. I'm gonna throw all my papers from gym class that I don't get. I'll say reading.
Okay. Cast.
Phonics.
Oh. All right. And I'm going to use this for miscellaneous, as in like I would use this for like a health or like a language of some sort. So
Okay.
that's what I would
All
throw
right.
that on.
Nice.
That was just a little side little
That was
thing.
cool.
But let's continue. Clothes. Now we've gotten our school supplies. Now we're going to I don't know, TJ Maxx. We're going to the mall. We're going to Old Navy. We're going to wherever. And are we excited to get new clothes? Are we excited to try some new things on? Are there things that we always had to have? And, you know, were we trying to always look cool and follow the trends and everything like that? Where do you fall along this scales?
Oh yeah, I like to be. I was always like to be trendy. All my clothes are always sports team themed. Even in grammar school, all the way through high school, middle school, and high school, I always was rocking NFL jerseys. That was my go-to thing. I used to have jerseys for players from all teams. Even, you know, I was a 49er fan, obviously, but I had players of jerseys of players that I just liked. So I always had sports jerseys. I remember having the Reebok pumps in grammar school. I remember freshman year of high school, the Old Navy tech vests were super popular. I had like a bright yellow one. I look back, I have my freshman ID card that was my picture day. I had the yellow tech vest. It was so cringy.
Nice.
It's like a freaking highlighter. It's horrible. But yeah, in general, yes, I always like to stock up and get a lot of American Eagle in my middle school and the high school years. A lot of American Eagle, a little bit of Abercrombie and Fitch, but that was a little pricey. So usually went American Eagle.
Good. Cass, what direction did you go?
Well, you know, in grade school, we wore uniforms and didn't really have much of an option of what we had to wear. And what was really bad was we also had a summer uniform. So it was a polo shirt and these like dress shorts and plain white sneakers. They were pretty bad. And I always hated having to get the uniform. I was happy when I had to learn how to tie a tie. 7th and 8th grade, we got real ties instead of clip-ons.
Nice.
And I remember whenever I'd get shoes, my school was like, you have to get them at Stride Right. And it's like, going to Buster Brown. The shoes are better there. So, high school was a little bit better because there was a little more variation because we could wear, you know, we had a uniform, but, you know, we could wear whatever tie we wanted. There were different color shirts, different color pants we could wear. You know, we could wear khaki color, brown, black, and then had different fleeces, different sweaters or sweatshirts. So, and it was all school apparel. Then they came out with a gray fleece one year, and like that was, you know, the cool thing. I still remember 2 of my friends and I were doing a project at my friend's house, and my friend remember Bod spray, that disgusting.
Yes.
Fucking like in a Windex bottle. I was doing something. I turned around. My other friend just sprayed me like a million times in the face, and it went all over my fleece. So we're having a war with this. And I remember I came home and my mom had to wash my fleece 3 or 4 times.
To get it out.
Disgusting stench came out.
Smell like axe. Smell like cigarettes.
But yeah, the clothes thing was, you know, not really until college for me because I had to wear a uniform.
All right, cool.
How about you, Duff?
For me, it was, I initially started out with the whole uniform, going to private school, all that when I was growing up. So yeah, I understand the whole thing of, you know, having to wear a little tie, and, you know, it made it easier looking back at it. Like, you didn't have to worry. Like, you just got up, you had to put that on. We would have like a change of clothes for gym, but that was basically it. So it made it easy, but yeah, you know, the little clip-on tie and everything like that. But I remember, transferring over and eventually going over to public school. It was like, whoa, I can wear whatever I want every day. But then that brought a whole other element of like, oh, now I got to wear like cool stuff and, you know, making new friends. I got to look cool and, you know, finding, you know, whatever I can at like, you know, Old Navy or going to like Bob's stores and like, you know, getting some discounts there and all that stuff. But
on couches.
Come on down. No. Yeah. And then, kind of as I grew up, kind of just like, whatever the trendier kind of things were, you know, I'd still kind of like hold on to like Old Navy and stuff, but Aeropostale, that was another big one. That was kind of like the poor man's version of like American Eagle. But, you know, then as I got a job myself, I could afford American Eagle a little bit more. But what is it? Hollister and the other ones those are a little bit too pricey. You go into the store, you couldn't even see. The music was too loud. It smelled too much. And it's not into that. But overall, like I kind of just tried to look halfway decent and I cared about it. But I'm sure, you look back at pictures. I look back at pictures of myself and I'm like, what the hell was I thinking? As I'm sure we all did.
A lot of flannels with buttons undone with graphic tees underneath.
What was I doing? What was I doing? What was I doing? All right.
I still do that.
So yeah, we get into it. We start school. We're excited. We trying to find out, the classes that we're going to. I mean, when we're in elementary school, we're just put into one class. But you get to middle school, you get to high school, and college or whatever. We're finding out what classes we're in. Who's our teacher is going to be. When we couldn't pick it, are we gonna have any friends in any of those classes? And that was kind of always an exciting time, making sure that you're like with people that and always sucked when one of your best friends or one of your friends are like in another class or something. And sometimes that kind of worked where it's like you maybe didn't talk to them as much anymore after a while, or maybe you got closer with somebody that you wouldn't think you would get close to. But it was kind of exciting, nerve-wracking, because then you're with people you're not maybe as comfortable with. But you guys kind of feel the same with that, or did you have any specific experiences with anything like that?
Cass.
Well, I know in grade school we would have to, I think we'd show up in the auditorium to the teacher that we had the year before, and we go get brought back to that classroom, and then the teacher that we had for that year coming up would come with a list of people and call us out. And it's like, if you knew who the teacher was, it's like you had your fingers crossed which one you're going to get, and you're hearing your friends called and you're like, oh, I hope I'm with him, I hope I'm with her. And it could have been otherwise a dreadful year. I generally got pretty lucky with my picks then.
That's cool. It's like a draft.
And in high school we'd get our schedule mailed to us. So we'd have our list of classes, what period they were going to be, and it was exciting if there's a teacher we wanted that we got, and otherwise it's like, oh shit, this is gonna be a long year. That was my experience pretty much.
In grammar, in our grammar school, I think we would, on our final report card, it would say who your teacher is next year. So whenever you got your report card, you'd all huddle up with all your buddies and hope that you all are in the same class the following year. It's kind of sad that what you said, Duffy, is like just based on what class you're in could not ruin a friendship, but maybe you're not as close with, depending on what teacher you got, maybe you'd still have a friendship that kind of fizzled out a little bit. So
absolutely,
fun, interesting to think about in that way.
Yeah. And then, it's stuff that happens. We're kind of just winding it down here a little bit, but changing gears a little bit, then, obviously the school days go on, and, you have to decide, are you bringing lunch or are you buying lunch? I was one that would buy lunch every now and again, but most of the time I would bring lunch. Big peanut butter and jelly fan. So I know nowadays you can't do that because everyone's allergic or something, but,
plus it's just dessert. It really is. I love peanut butter and jelly, but peanut butter and jelly on white bread is just
that's going to be a whole other topic that we can get into another time.
Throwdown.
You just struck a nerve here.
I love peanut butter. That's what I ate almost every single day.
Yeah, and it's not dessert. But anyway, what'd you get? Do you guys usually bring lunch or do you buy lunch when you went?
I always bought lunch. I always had hot lunch.
Hot lunch, yeah, that's what it was called.
Lunch. In high school, I was lucky enough. My aunt worked in the cafeteria. And she worked
freebies.
Yeah, she would, sneak some extra chicken nuggets under the French fry pile, and
nice.
maybe throw a Drake's cake or a Hostess cupcake underneath there.
Cool.
It was nice.
Nice
To have the hookup.
Cool. Cast.
Yeah, I mean, grammar school we didn't have hot lunch, and as I've said before, we many times ate in silence, sitting in our seats at our desks. So that was always bringing lunch. High school though, they had a cafeteria, obviously, and I would bring lunch, I'd say like half the time, and then other times I'd buy. I remember freshman year, there was a hot lunch line and a cold lunch line. The hot lunch line was always wrapped around the cafeteria, and I never got hot lunch once that entire year. Then they revamped the whole cafeteria, and then they had a lot of different choices, and it was good food. But I almost every single day, and the Rev every single day, Otis Spunkmeyer giant cinnamon roll. I don't know if you guys ever had that. To the point where I think he bought them on Amazon or something. I don't know if they make them.
Of course he did.
Yeah, of course he did.
Why?
Have you met the Rev?
Yeah, I have. I actually have. And shout out to all your fellow guys that we went out and had a little fun time for a little bachelor get together. We have a lot of good fans out there who basically were asking for autographs. We had to turn them down, and they wished you were there too, Scales. But thanks.
Was like was it like Beatlemania at Mohegan Sun?
Basically.
Beetlejuice Mania.
Oh, even better.
But not the movie. The
man,
the little man from
Lester Green.
Yeah.
That's
nuts.
Yeah, I wanted to thank all of our fans out there. I think we might have gotten even a new fan.
I believe so.
That we might have met that night. Hopefully she
Nice.
is listening, and she can provide some input if she enjoys the show or not. But I think I'm going to leave that there for now. And I think if we have any other things that we want to get through and talk about, we can revisit this topic. But I think we definitely covered a lot of back to school topics. Just again, that time of year. So I think that's it for tonight. Again, another episode, but a little mini episode. We kind of condensed it a little bit, but we had fun. But yeah, I wanted to thank everybody for coming out and viewing this and watching. Please follow us on all forms of our social media. Check out YouTube, leave comments, let us know how we're doing. Listen to us on Spotify and Apple Music. And, if you have any questions, concerns, comments, please leave a message and let us know. We want to do this for you guys, and we're having fun. But until next time, we hope you guys have a great night and day and evening and week. And take care of yourselves. We'll see you next time.
Happy back to school, kids
Bye.
and parents.
Enjoy.
Suckers.